welcome to the Confidence Igniter podcast. And I am your host, Tamiko Green. Well, I have a show for you tonight. Yes, I do. Well, if this is your first time viewing, I am so glad you're here. But if you are a returning viewer, I am definitely glad you are here as well. All I also ask is that you would hit the subscribe button and also like. But before we get the show started this evening, I definitely want to remind you about the Confidence Igniter Conference. Yes, the Confidence Igniter Conference is coming up real soon, May 10th. Yes, that's Mother's Day weekend. Yes, so I really hope to see you in the place. And guess what? Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. Yes, so you should see a flyer coming out on Facebook and TikTok, wherever I can put that flyer, that's where it'll be. Okay, if TikTok is not still up, well, we will have to do something different. But please look for the flyer, and I definitely hope that you will show up at the conference. And also, just so you know, a portion of those proceeds will go to help the homeless. Yeah. So not only um, will you come out and we will make an impact in you, but you will also make an impact by helping someone else. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get this show started. And so, once again, like I said, I am so excited about the show this evening. And the show this evening is a little bit different, but it's all about confidence, right? All about confidence. So, our title tonight is Good Self Care starts with good skin care. I'm going to say that again. Good self care starts with good skincare. Now, I know you know this. Beautiful skin requires commitment, not a miracle. I'm going to say that again. Beautiful skin requires commitment, not a miracle. And so I want to take time out to welcome my guest tonight. She is truly an advocate on self care. And that's something a lot of times we forget about ourselves. But tonight, we're going to have a nice time and a nice conversation about taking good care of your skin. Because I'm going to tell you, self care is never a selfish act, it is simply a good stewardship of the only gift that we have, and that is ourselves. And we also share ourselves with others. So let's welcome to the set Jennifer. Yes. Well. You're here. You're here.
We're here.
Welcome. I am so glad you are here with me this evening. Um, and the topic, I just really love the topic. When I spoke to you about joining me and we talked about self care, I was like, you know what? It does really play into our confidence. So before we really get into our questions, would you like to say anything to the viewers? Let them know a little bit about you.
Well, thank you for having me tonight. I'm excited to be here and share kind of what I know and the things that I do and how I feel about building self-confidence. And it does start with good skincare because that's what people see first. When you walk into a room, they do see your face, and that's the first thing they're going to think about when they first meet you. Is their first impression.
You are so right. And just I want you to know you have some beautiful skin. Very beautiful skin. And you are right, I do agree with you. When we walk in the room, that is the first thing people see. They see our face, they see our skin. And if we're not confident in our skin, it's kind of hard to walk with your head held high when you walk in the room or wherever you are. So, well, let's go ahead and get our questions started here. And so, my first question to you today is, in your experience, how does taking care of your skin impact self confidence and how a person shows up in the world?
Well, I think self-confidence start with how you feel about yourself. When you first get up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you have to say to yourself, do I feel good about what I see? And if you start with that, that starts your day of how you feel about yourself. And self-confidence starts with how you perceive yourself. And walking into a room and just starting the day with how you feel about yourself is a good feeling. Then you radiate all of that confidence by walking wherever you are. I notice when I walk into the building, if I feel good, people smile at me and I don't even know if I'm smiling. I must be, but they must pick up on my confidence of feeling good about myself. And I think that's what confidence starts from, is just feeling really good about who you are. And it's not all exterior, of course, but it's mostly how you see yourself to begin with, but you've got to work on the inside and the outside, of course. But it does start with taking care of your good skin and making it, your priority every day. We get up in the morning and brush our teeth and wash our face, but there's more to starting that confidence beyond that. And that's where we start our day, feeling good about ourselves.
I like that. And I actually agree with you because when we don't feel good about ourselves, it's like everything in many cases is bad. Like your day start off bad, and no matter, someone can even look at you and say, "You are so beautiful." And because you don't have that confidence, it's like, what are they looking at? And sometimes you might not even say thank you. You'd be like, oh, okay. So you're right. You're right. I like that because confidence is everything. So, yeah, I like that. So, my next question is, what are some of the common misconceptions about self care and skin care that keeps people from investing in themselves?
I think it comes to taking care of ourselves, like getting ready every day. Just when we were children, we got up in the morning or in the evening and took our baths and washed our face and brushed our teeth and started our day, either in the evening when you're finishing up the day or in the morning when you're starting your day. Just in general, that's how we started learning about taking care of ourselves, even as children. And as we get older, we just take better care of ourselves by doing things that are better for us. As we learn more, we end up taking better care of ourselves, like adding sunscreen, which most of us didn't do when we were younger. And we have learned about that now and how important it is. But there's so much more to good skincare and good self-care because we only have one body. So we need to take care of that. And nourishing that body on the outside as well as the inside is the way to take care of ourselves as a whole. And I think that's so important to start with our skincare, and then we can start the day just being confident about ourselves when we go out into the world. And you just have that face of things are going well, and you also radiate confidence to other people. When you feel good about yourself, people reflect that back. And I think that's so important to sort of share the confidence that you have, feeling good about yourself. I know some days when we look in the mirror like, I don't really feel great about myself today. And other days you really know you do feel good and you look good. But those days when you feel better and you look good, then you share that with others. And I think that spreads all that confidence to other people who see you.
Okay, I like that. And it's interesting because a lot of times we don't put ourselves first. And I think because we don't put ourselves first, some people do, but then you have a lot of people that put everyone else first. And we don't stop to think about us. Like we take, if you're a mother, you may take good care of your kids. If you're a wife, you may be the one that takes good care of your family, make sure everybody has everything that they need. But when it comes down to yourself, you kind of forget, like, I need to take care of me. I need to do something for me to, just kind of make love on myself, because I think it self care is about loving on yourself as well. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. We have to love ourselves first. I know the story that most of us have heard about being on an airplane, and when the oxygen mask drops, you've got to put it on yourself first before you can take care of others. And we didn't, as women, we probably didn't learn that lesson very well early on. But now when we hear that analogy, we realize that we have to really take care of ourselves first before we can take care of others. And it starts with not feeling bad or guilty or something else about ourselves, taking care of ourselves. You can't give from an empty cup. So the best thing you can do is fill yours up first. Then you have so much more to give to others when you feel good about yourself.
I think that's good. You cannot give from a empty cup. But so many of us do try. We literally try to give from an empty cup. And even if it's one drop, we give that out and have nothing left for ourselves. And I like when you said use the airplane. They always tell you, like, if there's an issue, put your mask on first and then help someone else. And you're right, so many of us either didn't learn it at all or learned it late. And then I think when you learn it late, sometimes it's hard to set those boundaries with other people. And especially if you learned it in a relationship, whether you were just dating or you were married, and then you realize the light bulb went off and said, I need to take care of myself. I need to do this for me. And I think that's when those boundaries. And so, how do you, using that airplane analogy that you use or example, how do you set those boundaries? If you find yourself like in that situation where you've always put everyone before you and now you want to love on you, how do you use that? The put with the airplane on the airplane, you got to put your mask on first. What do you say to people?
I think the biggest thing that I have learned is by taking care of yourself first, putting on the oxygen mask first, then you have the confidence and a good personal boundary to help someone else. Almost a little bit of protection, because you can't help someone else or carry someone else unless you are good with how you feel about taking care of yourself first. That still comes back to good self-care and good skin care. But first of all, you have to really think about who needs your help. And you can't help anybody else if you aren't able to help yourself. I think from a full cup, you end up starting with taking care of yourself, and then you can help someone else next to you or whoever's around you. And as women, we typically have really giving hearts, and it's a little harder to set those boundaries. But we usually learn from experience when we have children or parents or siblings. Those you can help, and those can benefit from you thinking about how to help them best. And you can do that better when you're in a good place, when you're centered, and when you're full. And when the oxygen mask is on your face, then you can put the one on the next person next to you, and then you keep going. And maybe they can do the same thing for the next person. So we have to start from there.
Okay, okay. When you were speaking and you were talking about skincare, and I think a lot of times people may think skincare like your face. That's because that's the first thing you see. But the skin is the largest organ that we have. So when you think about skincare as a whole, like taking care of all of your skin, whether it's just your face, your arms, every part of you deserves some self care. So it just dawned on me. I'm like, wow, we're talking skincare. That's like loving all of you, your whole entire body. So yeah. So I have one more question for you, and it is: can you share a personal story where you prioritize self care and it transformed your confidence or your overall well being?
How does self-confidence make me feel good about myself as far as my skincare? I think it starts with just feeling confident and knowing you look the best you can and going out and sharing how you feel with others. I know that self-confidence is kind of contagious, and we try to do that with other people. If you go into a room with other confident coworkers or friends, it just basically makes you feel better about who you're with, and they feel better. I got to have time with a good friend of mine, and when I saw her last week, we just both felt like we were just in such a good place, and we both created that confidence of feeling so good about ourselves. And she looked great, I looked great, but we felt good about ourselves. And a lot of times that starts with just good skincare, and not just the face, but your whole body. Your whole body is one part of you, and then of course, your spirit, but what you end up giving to others has to do with how you radiate your own confidence. And you do that by feeling good about what you see and what you feel about yourself.
Um, so, has there ever been a time in your life that you kind of put yourself in the background and didn't have that opportunity or didn't take the opportunity to make yourself first? Self care for you. Have you ever experienced that? And what caused you to turn that around?
One time I was in class and I had a spot on my face, and it was a dark spot from coming back from a beach trip, and someone tried to wipe it off thinking it's something had dropped on my cheek, and that kind of embarrassed us both. But I went to the dermatologist and had them take a look at it in case it had been something more serious, and thank goodness it wasn't. But having it checked at the dermatologist made me a lot more aware of how to take care of my skin and just basically be more aware of sunscreen, which I was not a big sunscreen wearer for many years, mostly because it didn't smell good. And I didn't like the way it smelled on my skin. But it really taught me a lesson to be more careful in the sun and really go to the dermatologist on a regular basis so that I can make sure that I'm really being on top of that. And they put some liquid nitrogen on there, and it went away. But I was definitely more aware of being watchful of what's going on with my body, not just my skin on my face, but also on my body, and being careful with those spots and what they might mean. And that was really kind of a wake-up call to pay attention.
Okay, I like that, and I think that is important for us, like you said, to pay attention for things that we see that's abnormal growing on our bodies, for us to not just kind of let it slide or say, oh, that's nothing, or kind of self diagnose yourself or what it is and use whatever home remedy that you come up with or what a Google remedy for some. So that's really good. So is there anything that you would like to tell the viewers? Any like tips that you would like to share with someone that's, perhaps whether they're just starting a journey in self care, have always had a journey of loving on themselves, because this is Love Month. So, is it anything you would like to share?
I think that the best thing that anybody could take away from this is basically self-care starts with kind of the basics we learned when we were children. You need to take a shower and wash your face and brush your teeth and take care of the body that God gave you. And I think the best thing you can do is take care of your skin so that you're paying attention to your self-care. And it's not just always, of course, your face, although we're speaking of that. But you can really pay attention to what is going on with you. If you know yourself well, you're paying attention to those things. So it comes down to basically good moisturizer and always a sunscreen. And we have learned from other people's experiences that sunscreen is way more important than we anticipated when we were younger. So that's really the biggest thing I can take away from that. But always wash your face, cleanse it really good, moisturize, and sunscreen. If you do those three things, I think you're on a good path to take care of yourself.
And lastly, is there any certain particular brand that you use? You have very, very pretty skin. So I was just wondering, just in case one of the viewers are just wondering, like, because your skin is very pretty. So just, is it a certain brand that you use?
My favorite brand is Peter Thomas Roth, and they have a peeling gel that I put on my skin every day that peels off the top layer of the skin, and it's very gentle and very mild, and a special wash that has salicylic acid in it, and that's what I wash every day, twice a day with. And then the third thing I use is a sunscreen that I bought from my dermatologist. It's called Isden. It comes tinted and non-tinted, and that's what I put on my face in that order every day. Exfoliate with the peeling gel, and I wash my face, and then I put on the sunscreen, and then I go from there on my makeup routine. Those three things have really worked for me, and I can only speak with what works for me from my experience. But I think a lot of people out there could find what works best for them to have that same routine in a different product. I know everybody has different skin sensitivities, so that's what just works for me, and I can only speak from my personal experience. And I think it's working.
Okay, well, I definitely appreciate you sharing that because, once again, like I said, your skin is beautiful, and I'm sure some viewers will probably want to know, like, wow, what does she use because her skin is so beautiful? Well, I guess this is where we kind of wrap the show up, and I want to say thank you so much for joining me on today, and not just today, the day after Valentine's Day, but it's still Love Month. So happy belated Valentine's Day to all of the viewers. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful love month. So, once again, thank you. And I hope you will come back again and share a few more tips with us.
I would love that. Thank you, Tamika, for the opportunity to be with you tonight. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited for another video with you.
All right. Well, you are very welcome. To all my viewers, I hope you get the opportunity to take the time out to like, to look, and also please share this video because good skin self care starts with good skin care. It is so important for us to take care of ourselves. And as Jennifer said, we can only pour from a full cup, not an empty one. Until next week, have a good evening.